Despite his position as number 2 in the team, the outstanding performances have all come from Mansell this season. 3rd place in the Belgian Grand Prix and brilliant in practice at Monaco, 3rd fastest in the relatively untried 87. And all that less than a year after his traumatic Grand Prix debut in Austria.
When I had qualified with sort of 3 minutes to go for the race, I was sort of getting burnt by petrol. And very, very difficult decision to be made on the grid as to whether one gets out the car or carry on and do the race. And there's no two ways about it. There's no way I was going to get out the car on my Grand Prix debut. So I sat there, and although water was poured over me, I had 1st and 2nd degree burns, you know, through it.
How did you complete the race in that kind of condition?
Well, mainly, I guess, mind over matter, blanking out the pain, because I tell you, it was very painful, and afterwards it took me over a week before I could walk properly. But there again, you know, in this day and age, and certainly in our sport and occupation, you've got to show your determination, and you have to sort of prove things not only to yourself but to other people that you're willing to sort of go through various things. And so I think it did a lot of good in some ways. So you know, I just accept it as one of the trade problems.
That courage has been the hallmark of Mansell's style. In 1977, he was suffering from a broken back and discharged himself from hospital in order to win the National Formula Ford Championship. And he had to show similar guts when he was first offered his chance with Lotus.
Well, I think it'd be true to say that I was unfortunate enough to break my neck in 77 in 2 places, and I broke my back in 79. But on both occasions, I recovered very, very quickly. In point of fact, when I was lying on my back in 79 in bed, you know, on a board, I had a phone call off Team Lotus saying, would you be interested in coming down to test at Paul Ricard and Mario Andretti's championship-winning car, 79. And they said, we've heard that you've had an accident a fortnight ago. And I said, what accident, you know? I said, it'd be no problem at all. I should be down there the following week. And I've got a first-class specialist that looks after me. And he did what he could for me, and I went down there and there was no problem.
Well, he's the best you could have. He's a qualified engineer. He has a degree in engineering. He's very sympathetic. He analyses the car. He's lucid. He can explain exactly what's happening. He's a perfect race driver.
I think a lot because I'm a qualified engineer and did an apprenticeship with Lucas Aerospace, and I'm finding that very, very useful now, certainly in Formula One. So I think a lot and try and get the car to do the work as much as possible, as opposed to driving around the problem. But then at the end result, I have the capability, or I feel I do, that I can drive around problems as well, because when you're in a race you can't make a pit stop to alter the car, because then you lose your place. So, you know, a lot of both really.
Well, you've got now the prospect coming up next month of driving the 88 at long last competitively. What kind of a car is it? Do you know a great deal about it at the moment?
Well, we've both driven it, both Elio and myself, and in the early stages it proved very, very successful. But since then, everyone's sort of got these hydraulic cars now where they go out on the circuit and then they lower themselves. So the little bit of advantage we had is perhaps not there now. But there again, the 88 is such an innovative car that it's got lots of other things that are better than a conventional car. But then on saying that, there's a lot of things to be developed on it. But for sure it will be quick.
And it would be particularly quick at Silverstone, I should think.
Well, one would hope so, yes.
But in the meantime, thoughts on the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend?
Well, absolutely. I'm putting all my thoughts now into next weekend. And the 87, we've made a few mods and learnt a few things with that already. And as we were on the grid here today and demonstrated, we took the first 6 places. So I feel sure we should be able to take the first 2 at Spain.